Welcome to Wholesale Hotline. I'm Brent Daniels.
I'm Jamil Damji.
And I'm Jerry Norton.
And I'm Pace Morby.
Every week we bring you the best information on real estate investing.
Be sure to participate in the comments.
And subscribe.
Wholesale Hotline!
That was the craziest thing ever. Jamil and I had 2,000 people at Squat Up Summit in that room. It was a 3,000 person event, but you had 2,000 people in that room that were all yelling that. It was so loud, it hurt my ears.
It looks like Owners Club was just as crazy.
Owners Club was crazy this week. I haven't even looked at my phone in 3-4 days. I've just been networking and hanging out. I've got so many crazy good things that happened this weekend with businesses, and there's just so many good, amazing opportunities in not just real estate, but in business in general right now, where most people are sleeping on the sidelines in real estate, and guys like you, guys like me are doubling down. How do you feel 2026? Do you feel good about 2026? I think rates are going to go down significantly. I think flips are going to be on like at an all-time high. I think if you're developing, if you own stuff, you're going to be refinancing. I think 2026 is going to be like on fire. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Pace, I really don't care because, you know, when you're off the sidelines and you're in the game, you make your own economy, you know, like it could be going to hell next year and you're going to make money. Pace is going to make money because what Pace does is he makes opportunities from what's given, you know? And I think, you know, it's fun to talk about and stuff. And I think you're right. Like, man, it'd be really cool if we had some things going our way. But if you guys are waiting, like, hey, maybe I should get in, but I need interest rates to come down, or I need the market to be a little better, or whatever. I think you're totally missing the point of how this works. You know, I'm over 20 years in since I started Pace full time. Over 20 years, it's gone up, it's gone down, it's gone sideways. You know, and I just stay consistent and stay at it and adjust, and everything seems to work out when you do that.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's tough to convince a new person of that. Sadly, they want to know, tell me exactly what I should be doing. And is the water too cold? Is the water too warm? You know, what's going on? I think it's kind of a pump fake that they give themselves of, is now a good time to buy? Here's the reality of real estate, guys. Real estate is an everlasting and also ever-changing animal. And you don't go hog wild on flips your whole life. Like nobody would ever say, I'm a fix and flipper full time. You usually will go and do a lot more fix and flips than you're normally doing because maybe interest rates are going down. You're going to double down on your flips. If interest rates are going up, you're going to slow down on your flips. You might start doing a little bit more Subto, seller finance, holding. But the beautiful thing is wholesaling is something that has always been around and will always be around. There's always somebody going into foreclosure. There's always somebody going to divorce. There's always somebody getting challenged with a hard time, what have you. But you're pivoting strategies. And real estate is one of these things where the strategies are, again, so plentiful that really is a question. It's not, should I be doing real estate? It's, how should I be doing real estate?
How should I be doing it? Yeah. One of the things I'm talking about right now, Pace, like for flippers, and this applies to wholesalers too, because they take deals to flippers, is you need to be paying a whole lot closer attention to actives, not just solds when you're looking at value, because actives are going to tell you, and when I say actives, I mean inventory and days on market. So the way I'm looking at things now, when I comp a deal, it's like, okay, well, if I were to bring this deal to market and compare it to everything else out there, if I was comparable, then am I going to sit like they're sitting? And what do I need to be at for it to move in 30 days or less? So I have like this strategy of like, I want to price this so that when I come on the market with the other dozen homes just like it in the same neighborhood, why would mine sell over theirs? What do I do to stand out? Price is a big one. You know, how do I price it so that I move quickly? And solds are good. We always look at solds. That's historical data, but I'm way more concerned about what's sitting on the market, not selling, than I am about what sold 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, it's interesting. Evan Van Dusen says it's been difficult finding deals lately. I am blown away by that comment, and I'll tell you why.
I don't know how that can be the case.
It's physically impossible to be the case. Here, let's do a little bit of research on this. And I want to educate the audience of what's going on in the marketplace right now. Okay. So if we go to, let's do a little screen share. I like hanging out with Jerry sometimes just by myself because I don't feel like I have to entertain 4 people. I can just entertain Jerry. It'll be good.
I'm easily entertained too, Pace. So
yeah, he's easy. So let's go to where we're going to go right now is we're going to go to the USA debt clock. Okay. You guys have all been to the debtclock.org. Okay. Now, why is this such a cool freaking calculator? Well, if I remove the comment, you'll see down here that you can actually look at home sales right here in the down in the middle. Click on home sales. Let's let it populate for a second. We have not had a slower year. Check it out. Look at all the years prior. So existing home sales annual rate. So 2024 and 2025 is actually slower than 2024. 24 was the slowest year on record in almost 30 years. And why does that matter to us as real estate investors? These are retail sales, meaning homeowners that are hiring real estate agents, buying houses on the MLS. Okay. We have not had a slower year in 30 years. Okay. Literally, it is 25-30% slower than it was 4 years ago in 2020 and 2021 for obvious reasons because of the interest rates. Okay. So what does this mean for people that are in wholesale or off market real estate? Real estate agents can't sell houses right now. So all you have to do, Jerry, do you have a prop wire filter that's like long days on market or anything like that?
I think we can do days on market. I'll have to check.
Okay, pull that up while I chat. So
okay.
Deal Sauce, another software that I use, Deal Sauce will be able to pull long days on market, meaning I will look at the days on market in my area. Okay, so let's just Google, whoever said that a little bit slow, who said that a bit earlier, I can't remember his name. Okay, Evan Danusen 9573. When y'all are making your YouTube names, are you not paying attention? Is YouTube suggesting these names for you? Okay, so let's go to Arizona average or Phoenix, Arizona average days on market. I think it's probably in the 60s. I'm going to assume. Okay, average days on market right now, it is 70 days on market. Okay. So I would not bother a real estate agent unless it was like 80 days or 90 days on market. What I see a lot of new people do is they will call a real estate agent like 10 days on the market going, "Hi, I'm a real estate investor. Would your seller accept a cash offer?" Dude, they haven't even had any time to get beat up by the market. And what's happening right now, I want you to know this number too. We are at an all-time high in the history of tracking expired listings. All-time high. It's never been higher, even worse than in 2008, worse than anywhere else. Expired listings are at an all-time high right now, which means never in history have more homeowners fired their real estate agent for not being able to sell their house for 6 months. It's physically impossible for you not to get a deal. Physically impossible unless you wake up in the morning and go, "I'm going to try and not do a deal today."
In fact, Pace, by the way, we do have a filter for days on market. But honestly, if you're calling agents on listed properties, you've already missed the boat. I mean, honestly, what you need to be doing is you need to be calling all agents in your market. And instead of calling something listed, you call and you say, "Hey, I'm looking to buy a property." And when you sit down with a seller on a listing appointment and it's in original condition or needs work, then I'm a cash buyer. I'd like to present a cash offer to your seller. And that way you don't have to go on market. You don't have to deal with showings, appraisals, inspections, none of that nonsense. You don't have to deal with another buyer's agent because I'll let you dual represent it. And you just bring me those leads. We'll put an offer in front of that seller. We'll see if we can get the deal done. You do that every single day. You're doing deals every month and they're all off market. It's the agents that are bird dogging for you now. I mean, that's the real way to get deals from agents is off market.
Yeah, 100%. And If somebody says, I don't know where to find a deal right now, I can't find deals. Okay, go to creativelisting.com. You want to get a deal right now, go to creativelisting.com. That's a place where people have already locked up deals. By the way, my housekeeper, I'm not joking when I say this, and I know it's going to sound like a dick thing to say. I'm sorry. But I came home today and I was like, hey, what the heck is going on with my office? It's not cleaned up, right? That's not normal. Like I come home, I make a mess in the morning. I come back, my house is all put together. And I'm like, okay, no worries. I just shrug it off. And I was texting my wife. I was like, hey, did our housekeeper not show up today? And she says, no, she's been busy. She got her second wholesale deal today at your desk. I'm like, our housekeeper got a second deal. I literally just gave her first deal on a bird dog deal 2 weeks ago. She's now got her second deal, getting another, I think she's getting $7,000.
Pace, you keep teaching everybody how to do real estate. No one's going to work for you anymore.
That's the problem. I literally was voice memoing my wife this morning. I was like, can we hire somebody that speaks pure Spanish so that I don't have the urge to teach them how to do this business? Guys, literally, my housekeeper has done two deals in the last 30 days. Okay. She's never been in real estate. She just has watched and come up on Wholesale Hotline straight up. Okay. All right. So if you guys want to go find a deal right now and you don't want to do the negotiation, just go to creativelisting.com, tell Creative Listing what you want, and people will go find it for you, which is kind of nice. Jerry, do you have the ability to show me how to go through PropWire, or do you not know how to use the StreamYard?
Well, I can hit presenter mode.
Yep. Go down below our screens and there's a little plus
share screen.
There you go.
Okay.
PropWire. Show us how to do a pull list on PropWire.
Okay. Hit that. All right. Look at me go. Can you see my screen or did I not do it right?
There we go.
Okay. So
you're actually sharing. There we go. There it is right there. Perfect.
Okay. So just when you asked me that earlier, I put in Tampa, Florida, just for funsies. I put in active. So guys, when you go down here, you could do MLS active, MLS failed, which failed could be either it expired or it was withdrawn. So either one of those. And you can also stack this. We call it list stacking. So you could stack this with low equity if you're looking for maybe sub-2 or other things, high equity if you don't want that. But if I just leave it at active, and then over here on the more tab, you can go down and you can do MLS filters. And I could say I want a minimum 90 days if I want to look at stuff over 90 days, or you could do dates on the failed date. So depending on how far back you want to go. We have a couple of really cool keyword filters in here. So Pace, you'll like this one, creative financing. So what this does is it's filtering out the description. So if they have any keywords in the description indicating that the seller's open to creative finance, then it will pull those out. So let's just remove this for now. And let's see if it finds any. So 14, where it says something about that in one of those. So these would be actives for sale right now where sellers are open to creative finance in Tampa. So that's kind of a fun filter. And then we also have these other two. Investor owned is mostly keywords that are indicating like buy and hold. So it would say things like tenant occupied or cash flow, great rental, whatever, anything that would be sort of like something you'd want to buy and hold. And then the motivated seller is anything that would be distress, like, must sell or fixer upper, any of those kind of keywords. So that allows you to sort of, hone in on different things you're looking for. And that's just under the MLS. Now, one thing that's cool here too, real quickly, I'll show you. If you pull up by the way, over here in the records, it'll show you all the filters each one of these listings hit. So like this one's creative financing and it's empty nester. So they've owned it for so long and it has high equity. So pay attention to that because that tells you other motivations. But like when you pull one of these up, so I don't know what's going on with this one here. Look at all the things this is: adjustable loan, cash buyer, high equity, MLS active. So this thing's gone through a whole bunch. You could tell something. Well, actually, this might even be I don't know what happened here.
I think that's a rendering of
rendering.
What it could look like.
Yeah, it's a rendering. But we also have mortgage information here too, so we can find out what's going on with that. Here's all the listing info. What I was going to show though is, we pull all the agent data. So you don't have to go look for it. We've got all their data, emails, phone numbers, everything. So if you want to reach out to this agent, which that's what I do, I double dip. So I go directly to the listing agents. We get that. Now, you can actually, let me reset this. You can actually run a list of this entire database of, well, let's put something in here. Let's go back to actives. Oh, there's too many. But I can go back to MLS active, for example, and that 248, or no, that 1900, I could run a list and grab all the agent phone numbers and then do outreach to every one of those agents. So
I almost want to call the agent that's under construction.
Back on that one we just looked at.
Yeah, can you pull it up?
Yeah, where'd that go? I had filters in. Was that, which filter did I have? Motivated seller for that one? I don't remember how we got to that one. Is that?
Yeah, those are like, this is what I'm talking about, guys. There's people that are literally saying this is a fixer upper. Come buy this.
Yeah. Hey, Pace, there's no deals out there. Now look at, it's probably overpriced, right? But this is how it goes. You got to have these conversations over and over again. I would call this person, this agent. So go over here to listing right here, Pete Rundell, here's his mobile. And I'd say, hey, this looks like the kind of thing I'm looking for. Sold as is, fixer upper. I don't think this is going to work for my number. Let's say that's way too high. It probably is. But next time you sit on a listing appointment with somebody like this, wouldn't it be easier if you just called me and we worked out a deal and we got it done and you didn't have to show it or nothing and it was easy and I'll pay you 6%? Guys, all you got to do is do that 10 times a day and you're doing deals. You're doing deals.
When somebody says, I still haven't done a deal, all I hear is, I haven't done any work.
Yeah. Pace, it was funny. I got a comment on one of my videos the other day and it said, I've called 50 sellers. This doesn't work. I commented back and I said, once you've talked to 1,000, call me back. Once you've talked to 10,000, call me, let's talk. 50, that's like one day. That's like a day. That's like a day's work. 50. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? 50.
Yeah. It's, and it's also getting easier and easier to be in this business. And the reason being is, number one, the tools are getting better. The information is getting more precise. The speed to lead is almost like zero, right? I can get a lead right now, call a seller, call an agent, boom. And the ability to know what is going on with the seller before I even call them is also pretty quick. Like, think about that house that was under construction. Yeah. They have an existing loan. It's under construction. They're trying to sell it. What is going on with that property, Jerry? What could you?
Somebody ran out of money.
Somebody ran out of money, or their contractor took advantage of them and took their money.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So somebody's desperately trying to sell this property, trying to save their butt. See if you can find that property. I'll call them at, even though that's East Coast, I'll try and call them at like 8:15. See if you can find that.
All right, I'll go look for it. It's in here somewhere.
Yeah, Dimitri Van Camp. Good to see you, Dimitri. Says, how can you claim that there are no deals in the massive United States of America? I can't. I did over 60 deals this year in just one county in Florida. There are 67 counties in Florida. Okay. The better thing to do is just be honest with yourself. Stop saying, I haven't done my first deal. Start saying, I haven't done the work to deserve a deal. That is the appropriate way to communicate what your frustration is. Okay.
Yes, I just sat down this past week with a small little group of investors, like you do all the time, students, and one of them, Anthony Kazar, he came through my mentor program, Fast Track, 5 years ago out in Puerto Rico. And he worked on it a little bit, did a couple deals, left, did other things, came back. And he said to himself, I'm going to make a 12-month goal to call and talk to 30 agents a day, every day without fail. I'm not going to miss a single day. And I'm going to do that for 12 months. I said, okay, what happened? He said, I'm coming up right now on month 12. And he said, and I'm averaging right now 3 to 5 deals a month. And I said, what'd you do? He said, nothing. I talked to 30 agents a day, 5 days a week. I didn't do it over the weekends, Monday through Friday. And I said, what'd you say? I said, I'm looking for deals. I said, that's it? He said, yeah, that's it. And then, I'd start following up and people would start reaching back out to me with stuff 4 months somebody I talked to 4 months ago. And he's in Jersey. And I said, have you even tapped the market? Like, are there more agents you could talk to? He's like, I got a database of 1,000 more agents I haven't even talked to yet that are going to, so I've got more room to grow this. And all he did, Pace, was he literally talked to 30 agents a day and said, hey, do you have any deals? Next time you sit down on a distressed property, can you think of me? That's it. That's all he did.
So where's the big challenge? Here's the big challenge. Actually, one of my good friends, Sahil Bloom. Do you know who Sahil Bloom is?
Yes.
Okay, so he's an author. He wrote an amazing book. Let me see if
Mhm.
I can pull him up. He wrote a post today, or the last couple of days, and it was basically talking about uncertainty and like why people have a really hard time in life is basically because they have zero tolerance for uncertainty, like literally zero tolerance for uncertainty. And for
Meaning
people,
meaning if it's not 100% proven fact, I'm not going to put in any effort.
correct. It's why somebody is willing to go to a paycheck that barely covers their bill because at least I'm certain I'm going to get a check that I can barely survive on.
Yeah, but Pace, the certainty's for 1 week at a time. I mean, there's no certainty you're there they don't fire you next week.
That is true. I agree. I'm just saying, like, it blows my mind that people, it's just different. Here it is. Tolerance for uncertainty. This is it right here. Let me pull this up. Sorry, guys. I just want to show you guys this. This is too good. This is my buddy. I'm so proud to be a new friend of his. Underrated life lesson. Tolerance for uncertainty is the most valuable human trait. The greatest rewards in life go to those who can show up every single day, even when the rewards are uncertain. The ones who can tolerate the most uncertainty is who will eventually win. So what ends up happening is you get so many people. I should bring Sahil on Wholesale Hotline. He has nothing to do with real estate, but wrote a New York Times bestseller just last year, crushing it, doing so great. And he basically just talks about the different types of wealth, right? Family. I'd say that Jerry is the richest man I know. I told him, I remember standing in my driveway in Montana. I said, Jerry, you are a billionaire in your house, a billionaire.
In family,
yeah.
not in finance.
Yeah, right.
In
So
life.
I'm like, so anyway, there's different types of wealth, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, Sahil Bloom talking about this is powerful because what happens is people that go to a 9-to-5 job, right? Something that really fits most people. They are convinced, stick around because you know your job's going to be here in a couple of weeks, in a couple of months, and a couple of this, and then you get comfortable in the certainty. And then when you go, man, I want more for myself. I know I'm built for more. Well, guess what that requires? It requires uncertainty and saying, how many days do I have to call? How many things do I have to learn before I get a massive big paycheck to see it? And everybody knows it's as simple as that. How long can you go on the new avenue without getting a paycheck and survive? And people go, well, I'm going to quit my job and go full-time in real estate. Please don't. Please do not do that. How about just get off your job at 5 o'clock and make an hour calls before you have dinner? That's it. Or better yet, I just did an interview with somebody on my YouTube channel and I gave him a challenge. I met him in LA and he says, I still haven't done a deal. I said, okay, add the word yet. And I said, what have you done? And he goes, if I'm going to be honest, I'm like, yeah, otherwise, like, why are we even having this conversation? He says, here it is. Actually, I'll share with you guys. This is great. We talk about 1,000 other things besides this in this video, so I'm sorry for those. There's the YouTube video right there in the side chat. I just popped it in there. So the YouTube video that I did is with him talking about how I did a challenge. I met him in LA and I said, hey, it's right here. Door knocking pre-form.
Well, thanks for coming.
Okay. And we basically talked about how he met me in LA, says he hasn't done a deal yet. Sorry.
Bless you.
Says, I haven't done a deal yet. And I said, I can guarantee you that if you knock 100 doors, I said, I'll do this deal with anybody else. If you knock if you knock 100 doors and you still can't get a contract, I will personally give you $10,000. And he says, is this the first time you've done this? I go, no, I've done this all the time. Nobody's ever taken me up on the offer. Or they do it and they stop knocking. So I'm like guaranteed to win. Okay. Why? Because 99% of people won't even take me up on the challenge. And the other 1% of people that if they actually go knock, they're going to get a deal. Guaranteed.
What does he owe you if he doesn't? Nothing.
Right. It's like a no.
How's he lose?
If he doesn't get a deal. Oh, how does he lose? He already
doesn't
lost.
get a deal. Yeah.
Guys, let me remind you something. If you haven't got a deal, you are currently failing right now.
Yeah.
So when people go, I'm afraid of failure. What? You are? You don't act like it because you're failing right now. What if you were as afraid of failure as I'm afraid of failure? Like, oh, hold on. I think the description of afraid of failure is incorrect. I am afraid of failure. Jerry is afraid of failure. That is why we take action, because we are actually afraid of failure. You guys are afraid of uncertainty. Let's get over the BS. You have your belief system, your BS is incorrect. You are not afraid of failure. Otherwise, you would be taking so much freaking action that your actions would show me, oh, bro, you must be afraid to fail because you're taking so much action. Makes no sense. You are not afraid of failure. You are afraid of uncertainty.
You know what I was taught by a mentor really early on when I got started was side hustle until you can replace your current income. So sit down, figure out what your current income is. And let's say it's $60,000. Do your 9 to 5. Don't quit your job. Side hustle from 6 to midnight. Once you've got $60,000, now put that in a dedicated account. That's your 12-month salary now. Now go full-time. It doesn't matter if you make $1 million or not. You only live on that $60,000 salary for the next year. Give yourself a raise. Do it again. Pre-fund your next year. In fact, this is a great strategy. Let's say you want to increase your marketing budget, $5,000 a month. Well, go make the money now. Build out your 12-month runway. Set that aside. Now you don't got to worry about it. You want to hire a new employee and you're worried about it. How am I going to pay for them? Figure out what their salary is. Go earn the money now, set it aside. Now you have 12 months of salary for that new employee. Like those are some ways that you can get over this. Like, oh, I got a job and I can't figure this out. Well, yeah, the hardest part is during that side hustle phase, but everybody should be able to figure out, how do I side hustle till I replace my income, get that 12-month window, now go full-time. It's amazing what you'll be able to do full-time than what you can do part-time. You know, like for me, when I finally did that, it was only like $25,000 pace that I needed to go full-time.
Like per year?
And for the whole year. Yeah. 25 grand a year was what I was living on 20 years ago. Yeah. 20. Yeah. It was minimum wage. It was nothing. It was underground construction, digging holes.
And you were married?
Yeah. That's why I had to do something.
I'm like 25 grand.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. But we were living, like, I was in a rat infested apartment. I mean, it was not, I told Anne-Marie, I said, this ain't the life for you and these small kids. Like, I got to figure something out. I got to try this because this ain't going to work for you. You know, you deserve better. So, you know, it took me about a year part-time in it. I saved up $25,000 doing a deal here and there. And then I went full-time. My first month full-time, I did 5 wholesale deals and made $52,000 because I'd gotten through the hump of how to transact. And then it was like full-time dedication, everything I've got into it. And then I just ran, you know, like I never looked back since. But like all these people are like, you know, they're half-hearted. They're doing it half-hearted. Their heart's not in it. You know, they come, they go, they get on the phones, they look for a deal a little bit, then they go 3 or 4 days or a week, and then they don't do anything. And you know what I mean? Like, commit, just commit to the process, stick with it, be consistent, and it'll start to happen. It's just boring. That's all. It's boring.
It is boring. And people are in this entertainment world where they just want to be entertained all the time. They want to be entertained. If, for example, I'll give you a really good example. The other night I was doing a training. I had 3,000 people on this training and I was calling a seller live, and I've had to learn how to entertain the audience and simultaneously close a deal at the same time, because like, if I just put an unfiltered, unedited seller call on YouTube, it gets crap views. If I edit it and make it entertaining and funny with little cuts and this and that, then it gets a crap ton of views. And I realize people don't actually want to get educated. They want to be entertained, right? And this is what politics is all about. This is what the politicians have figured out about 99% of the population, is they're like, these freaking people don't want to be like, they don't want a better life. They just want to be entertained and forget about their life. And so let's just give them a circus all the time. Let's give them sports. Like, You know you know what I love about you? You are a pretty masculine dude, but you're not a big sports guy. Like you're not sitting around watching sports, and you're at an age where and you have enough money that you could sit around and do anything you want to do and relax. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
So people want to be entertained. They don't want to be educated. Cool. So if I go do a seller call, I've learned that I have to, this is what I simultaneously do. I have my portion right here of my face calling the seller. And then I have a whiteboard that I'm drawing my play-by-play the whole time. Okay. I am not joking you. My retention was 110%. Anybody that came into that Zoom did not want to leave because I was entertaining them with notes the entire Zoom session. Like, he's about to say this, watch me close him here. And I'm basically like narrating my seller call, which I've never done before. But I'm constantly trying to figure out how do I entertain people? When the reality is the business is not that entertaining. The real thing is you sit down in front of your computer in your underwear, maybe not even in your underwear, and you're wearing Crocs probably, and you're going to PropWire and you're pulling a list, you're loading the list and you're making 30 calls for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then you go, all right, I'm going to take a break and go out into the yard and do something else and then come back and do it again. That's what the business is. And people don't want that. They want to be entertained. Well, it's upsetting when somebody, and then what they do is they make comments on YouTube channel like, it's not that easy, Pace. You make it look so easy. I'm like, I have to make it look easy or else you literally stand no chance to take action. I have to convince you it's so effing easy that you will at least try for your first call. And you just won't. Okay. Art says that was not entertainment. It was so educational. Yes, that is correct. Art, he said it was really good. It was one of the best calls I've ever made, actually. So Jerry, when you were starting out in the business, were there days, years that you were just hunkered down in like an office making calls every day? Like, what did that look like?
Yeah, it was just showing up, doing the same thing again, boring. You know, the thing for me that overcomes the boring part of it is, you know, when you're transacting a lot, it just keeps everything always exciting because there's always a new challenge, you know? So like I thrive on that but the process is boring. You know, like this week I went over our dispo process from A to Z. We have this 5-day process and it is just meticulous. It's just detail. It's the same thing again, but it's so dumbed down. It's so McDonaldized that we have a VA that does almost all of it because we have this really well thought out SOP that they follow to the T. It's the same thing every time, you know, but that process is really boring because it's just repetitive and it's simple stuff. But like, that's where the money's at. The money's in the boring stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you the truth. I don't do any of the boring stuff anymore. And I found the things I really like to do. So for example, in the very beginning, I never had to sit down and make cold calls. I paid money for leads and my phone rang and I love freaking people so much. I love sellers so much. I love going into houses that smell like cat farts so much. I'm not joking when I say this. Okay. I love this so much. This business is amazing. And so I love going on calls and talking to agents and negotiating with people. I love that part of it. So what really worked for me was just JVing and partnering with people that really like the other stuff. Like, hey, Pace, I'll generate the leads. I will coordinate your calendar. I'll make sure that there's calls on your calendar. And I never really had to cold call in my entire life because I found other people that did it for me. And I just did the easy stuff for my personality. And I know right now, Jerry, you're kind of the same. Like you guys primarily focus on inbound leads. Is that correct?
I mean, yeah, we're doing a lot of inbound leads right now. Yeah.
Dom and Angie say, Pace, you're so funny. Cat farts. Bro, how many times have you been in a house that smelled like cockroaches had like cat babies and it smelled and diarrhea was poured on top?
Pace, I got to tell you something funny about Angie. So the other day I was helping a student on a deal out in their market, Dom and Angie's market. And I said, okay, You want to find a buyer really fast? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to find somebody who flipped a house right close by your deal. So we go right down the street, we're on Zillow or whatever. And I said, look at this. This is a flip right here. You can tell because it's renovated, it's vacant, and sometimes it's staged. So I said, let's call this agent. So it's Angie. I call Angie. I'm like, hey, Angie, I see that you flipped a house and we got one right down the street. And she's like, Jerry, it's Angie. I'm like, what, really? Angie? What the heck? I didn't even know. I didn't even mean to call her. It was
awesome.
Yeah, it was so funny.
So,
they're like, show me that deal. We'll look at it.
The house that you did with the dead head?
Yeah.
Tell people that story real fast. I want to know what ended up happening with that.
Okay, so wholesale deal in where was it? Grand Junction, Colorado. Mm-hmm. And a wholesale deal, and the cash buyer does a walkthrough on the day of closing. Okay. And this was a hoarder property and everything stayed. So buyer is in the basement and there just happens to be a chest freezer. They open the chest freezer to see a severed head, a severed human head and hands in the freezer. So, you can imagine that would be pretty traumatizing. So FBI, the whole thing, like yellow caution tape the whole place off, deal gets killed. And we ended up wholesaling it again, like a week later to somebody else who didn't care. But turns out I kind of followed the story pace. It was a widow that lived there with a 20-some-year-old kid, her son, and clearly mentally unstable. He had stabbed and killed a homeless guy that lived in town and chopped his head and hands off and kept it in the freezer in the basement.
Guys, you think he's joking. Look at all these news reports of all of this
Grand
stuff.
Junction. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There it is, October 14th. Hold on. Let's see if we can listen to this.
Fresh facts this morning on a disturbing story on the Western Slope. Mason County Coroner's Office identified.
Can you hear the volume when I'm playing this?
Yeah.
By a severed human head found in a freezer at a home in Grand Junction back in January. Investigators say the head and hands have been linked to the original homeowner's 16-year-old daughter who disappeared way back in 2005, Amanda Overstreet. She was never reported missing, but no one has seen her in nearly 20 years.
That's it. That's the house right there.
Not been recovered. Neighbors saying they remember the family and the little girl disappearing.
The family was asking, like, what happened to your little girl? And it was said that, I guess, they said that she got sent off to Texas or somewhere. So no one else thought of what happened after that. We seen her like 2005 the last time. Matter of fact, we noted that she was dressed very, almost like an old lady.
So far, no arrests have been made.
Okay, so
that may not be the final story. Maybe it is. Because I followed it and I thought it was the 20-year-old son had killed a homeless guy, but maybe it's a different story. I don't know.
That is the house though, right?
Yeah, that's the house. Yeah, that's definitely the house.
Okay, so did you not walk the property beforehand? This is the point to wholesaling. Jerry,
no, I never saw the house once. Yeah.
Why? I thought in order to wholesale, I have to be in the market and I have to be like walk these houses and see them.
I never see the house. I'm on a farm in the middle of Tennessee. I never see the house.
I sent Jerry a text message after this happened. I said, you need to do a YouTube video and the title needs to say how to get ahead in real estate. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm reading this all over. It says it's the same thing. It ended up being the daughter of the sellers.
So who did it?
I don't know. I bet you it's still going on right now.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy.
So this is the point, guys. You don't have to be anywhere near these houses. You don't have to be physically in the town that you're doing these deals. You have people all over the world doing these types of deals. It's crazy how simple this business actually is. In fact, you know what we should do next week? I would love to do a topic next Monday, Jerry. Me and you. It's probably going to be me, you, and Jamil. I would love to do a topic of how many activities of a certain thing I have to do before I get my first deal. So We pick one strategy, right? Calling agents. And we lay it out very specifically, KPIs, 45 minutes a day, outreach to this many agents for this many times. This is what's going to result. You'll know you're on track if you're at this level. Here's the relationships you're going to need. Go find those relationships to help you out and collaborate with you. And within 30 days, you haven't gotten a deal, or 60 days or 62 days, whatever it is, you haven't gotten a deal, then you know there's something wrong. But if you haven't even done X amount of days and X amount of calls, you cannot even ask another question, right? I think doing something very specific to people that are like, well, tell me exactly what to do. I think that would be massively beneficial.
Yeah. I have an exact plan, exactly what to say, the whole thing. I mean, it's 5 steps and you just have to implement it, and it's easy. I mean, it's easy in that to do it. It's just hard to do it. It's easy. I don't know why it's hard. I guess it's hard to have people say no to you over and over again. I guess that's hard for people. It's not hard for you and me, because you and I did church missions. I went to Argentina, you went to Japan, and for 2 years straight, every single day, we knocked doors to sell Jesus. So when we came into real estate, I had problems, but talking to people and fear of rejection wasn't one of them.
Yeah. In Korea,
for a lot of people it is.
Fear of rejection, I got over that in high school, like not being the best looking guy and not being the quarterback. Like I was naturally rejected by the girls that you normally want to date. I was used to that by the time I started knocking doors. And then when I was speaking Korean to people and knocking their doors and trying to sell them Jesus, just like he was speaking Spanish, trying to sell Jesus, that made me realize what real rejection felt like. And I got over that in like 30 days, and I started making games out of it and fun ways to win. And I would even preemptively say, I'd knock the door, the Korean on the other side would say, go away, I don't want something. And I would try and say exactly what they said before they said it, or exactly at the right time they said it. So it sounded like an echo, because I got so good at predicting what this person was going to say.
What I would do, Pace, is so in Argentina, you don't go up to the door, you clap out front, like at the road, right? And then what they would do is they would send the kid out to say no one's home. Like every time. So then you'd say to a little kid that's like 8, you'd say, that's not true. I just saw your mom. And then he doesn't know what to do, because he's not prepared for like, oh crap, he just caught me lying. Now what do I do? So I'd say, now go get your mom. I just saw her. She's home. And then he'd turn around and go back in and be like, Mom, they're onto it.
Bro.
So it's like guys, every time.
If you guys want us to come back next week, I told Jerry we were going to do tonight for only 45 minutes. And there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, I've been on the road like crazy this last week. And I actually have a tax training tonight for people in about like an hour and 15 minutes. I got to prepare for it. I told Jerry we'd only be on here for 45 minutes. If you guys want us to come back next Monday for an hour and a half, and all we do is tell you the exact steps, the buttons to press, when to know you're in line, when to know you're out of line, who are the relationships you need to go have that are all free, and give you a free structure on exactly what you can do to go get your first wholesale deal, say me, yes, in the side chat. Okay.
And if you want, I can give. So Rod's like, hey, can you go over the 5 steps? I can give you the 5-minute version if you want.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, give him a little taste of what we'll talk about next week.
Okay, this is literally all you need to do. You got to get a list of agents. You can do that for free. You can download it on PropWire. You can go pull them off of Zillow. It's easy to find a list of agents. It's not hard.
What if I give them next week all the entire nation of real estate agents and their phone numbers? How about that?
Yeah. So make sure you got a market, pick your market, get a list of agents, and then you're going to text every agent. And here's what you're going to text them. You're going to say, I'm in the area and I'm looking to buy a home. Can you help me? Please call. Now, you don't say investment. You don't say cash buyer. You don't say any of that, because you want them thinking you're retail and they're about to pick up a buyer's agent, a buyer as a buyer's agent. Right now, you don't outbound them. You don't call them. And by the way, I learned this from Hugh Boy, and Hugh might even be he does 10 deals a month with agents. And then you're going to make them call you, because when they call you, You're not catching them in the store, picking up their kid at school. They're not annoyed that you're outbounding them. They're calling you. So now they're going to be in a place where they're willing to talk to you. Then when they call you, what you're going to say is you're going to say, look, I'm looking for homes that are in original condition or need a lot of work. And we're cash. And me and my investor, your cash buyers, me and my investor are really looking for a deal by the end of the month or the end of the year or whatever. Like, we're really looking for a deal right now. Do you have anything? So this is now on the phone. So now you're telling them you're an investor. You're looking for something that needs work. Do you have anything? And then you're going to say to them, we're having a really hard time buying stuff on the MLS right now. So I'm not really looking for that. We watch that really closely. I'm looking for something off market. Do you know of anything off market, not listed? And then you're also going to say, what about anybody in your office? You know of anything in your office? I'm sure you guys network in the office. Does anybody else in your office have anything that fits that description? And then they're going to say yes or no. And then you're going to say to them, you're going to say, look, when you sit down on a listing appointment and it's clearly a distressed property or a distressed situation, would you tell that seller that you have someone that could present to them an all cash offer? And then let me know. I'll come in with that cash offer. We'll pay you both sides of the commission, or the seller, whatever. We'll make sure you get paid. And so now you're training them on basically, do you have anything right now? A lot of agents do, or they know of something in the office that's getting kicked around or whatever. And you're prepping them for their next listing appointment and how to work with you. Okay, now, and then you're going to follow up them after you hang up the phone. You're going to send another text, and the text is, here's my information. Save my number as Jerry Cash Buyer. That's what you're prompting them to do. What Hugh does, he says, hey, also friend me on Facebook. So he sends them his Facebook. Now, his Facebook is very strategic. Your guys' Facebook, don't send them that garbage, or they're going to be like, you're a freaking weirdo because you got goofball stuff on your Facebook page, but act like an adult and a business owner and make your Facebook look really good. And then he friends up with them on Facebook too. Agents like that. They're always looking to grow their Facebook page, and they're being reinforced by you because now they're friends with you. Okay. Then in 10 days, you text that agent back and you say, hey, remember me? We spoke a week or so ago. I'm still looking for deals. You got anything? Then you do that again in 10 days, and you start doing that once a week or every 10 days or so. And now you build two lists. You build your new agents that you're texting and starting conversations with. You're going to follow up now because you're going to start building a pipeline. You can get fancy software that does all this, or you can just run a Google sheet in the beginning until you're doing deals, then invest in automation, right? Like, just take it one step at a time. If you do that every single day and you're talking to a minimum of 10 agents, I think if you can get up to 20 or 30, it takes a couple hours to do what I just described, takes a couple hours. But if you do that every single day, 5 days a week, you're going to be doing 3 to 5 deals a month in no time. I promise you, because pretty soon those agents are going to start calling you with off-market leads, and you're going to make your offer and you're going to start getting deals.
Here's the challenge. Okay. People that are brand new, you will struggle because the energy of calling will be just like working out. You have to develop a muscle. So for example, this last thing I'll say, and we'll bounce for the day, guys, we'll be back next week. On next Monday, we'll break this all down a little bit more in depth, but I've never been a big workout person. I love to run, so it's easy for me. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about running. It's like, okay, just you have an hour, cool, go run 5 miles. And I'll usually run 5 miles 3 times a week. It's really easy for me. But about a year and a half ago, I'm going to tell you the truth. 3 years ago, I told myself I was going to go put 25 pounds of muscle on over the course of a couple of years, and I was going to start bulking up. In fact, it was actually Jerry that kind of inspired me. At the time, he was doing a ton of kettlebell raises, and he was doing a whole bunch of stuff that was cool. He inspired me. Guess what? That's what happens when you hang out with the right people. Okay. Well, I lied to myself for a year and a half. I did nothing. I worked out here and there. I got a little bit of, I watched a lot of workout training videos on YouTube. I even bought a $4,000 coaching thing, and I did nothing with it. And I should have known better, right? Because I'm the community guy. I should have known better. And so what I did is I joined a group that cost money, and I got around people that gave me a daily activity that we did together. And on the first day, the guy, his name was Benjamin, he says, he's having me work out some really light weights. I go, bro, I know I'm a sissy, but I'm not a sissy. Put some weight on here. And he says, Pace, I'm not trying to build muscle for you for the first 30 days. I'm trying to build a habit. And he goes, I want to create a mechanism that your muscles crave doing this. If I give you too much weight, you're going to be too sore, which then makes it so you complain for the next 4 days that you can't even walk up the stairs. So you'll skip the gym for 4 days. And guess what? For those 4 days, you will not develop a habit. In fact, the habit will be that you'll work out one day really hard, and then for 4 days you don't work out again. And even on the 5th day, it's so hard to build momentum back and do it again, just to like go heavy one more time. And he says, I'm just going to build a habit for you. Their first 30 days is just building a habit. And he says, the other thing is I'm going to make you work out 20 minutes only, not 45, because you will also go work out 45 minutes a couple of days in a row. And then one day your daughter wakes up late, so you take her to school late, which then compresses your time. Like, this guy knows human psychology, and he knows what happens. He says, then you're going to go, oh man, I don't have 45 minutes to work out. You know what? I'll work out tomorrow. And then you won't even do that. So I'm going to train you for the first 30 days, the most important muscle in your body, and it's your brain. I'm like, wow, why has nobody ever articulated this to me? Why has nobody ever said this to me? He says, because they all assume that you are committed, consistent.
Yeah.
They assume that they don't need to tell you what consistency is. And I'm like, no, sadly they do.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gives me a workout plan. We work out together for 30 days. And he goes, I think it's time for you to fire me. And I said, why? And he goes, because I think you've got the muscle. You are craving working out. Your body, you ever work out so well for like a month, Jerry, that you skip one day and your whole day is ruined because you didn't work out?
Yeah, because you're addicted to the endorphins. Yeah.
There you go. And so I got that. And now, next thing you know, a year later, people notice, like, hey, Pace, you're filling your shirt out. Hey, I see your arms are growing a little bit bigger. I'm like, whoa, wow. Well, you didn't see the lying I told myself for a year and a half of not making the cold calls and not calling the agents and not doing the thing. You didn't know that I finally had to hire somebody to be around my physical proximity. This is why I do the No One Left Behind challenge. I get people in the room for a week because I'm developing a muscle so that when they go back home, they have no choice but to go, I crave this. There's something wrong with my life if I'm not making those calls. So just know, guys, that is actually by far the hardest part of any business. There you go. Yeah. Chris says, do P90X and try and sit down afterwards. He's not wrong. The problem with P90X is that you are required to do it every single day. And so what the stats show is like 99% of people fail at P90X or even 75 hard because it's so intense for people. It is so intense that by day 2, they can't even walk. And so then they break out of that habit. It should be small and steady in the beginning. You're only looking to develop a new muscle, which is your brain. So who knows what some of you guys are talking about. No one left behind. Yes. Next week, No One Left Behind. Everybody that's just joined Subto, we will see you at No One Left Behind. Jerry, do you have anything that you're doing today?
No, we're hosting Joe Homebuyers bringing their people out here to the farm this week. So that'll be fun.
Okay.
No.
What does that mean?
They're just doing one of their company retreats for all the Joe Homebuyer franchisees. And they're using the farm here to do their event.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's be kind of fun.
Is this a thing that like anybody can do? They can just start like using your stuff?
Yeah. I mean, we're having you guys do a big thing here at Thanksgiving.
That is true. We're going to fill that farm up, 40 acres. We're going to fill it up. Speaking of which, guys, I have Creative Nation Tour. I'm going to be on the road for 122 days, meeting all of you guys in person. Go to creativenationtour.com. I'm visiting 109 cities in 122 days. It's going to be the most wild thing I've ever done. And I'm going out there to help you guys meet my Subto leaders and help you join teams for at least 90 minutes to give you a little taste of action and meet people in your local area. creativenationtour.com. The only thing you have to spend money on is probably some tacos, because we'll have a taco truck after the meetup. So creativenationtour.com. I start in Hawaii, go to Alaska, then Oklahoma, Chicago, Fargo, North Dakota. I go everywhere. And I end up in even 3 provinces in Canada, believe it or not. It's going to be a lot of fun. So
even Puerto Rico. We're going to do Puerto Rico.
Yes, we are doing Puerto Rico, and we're also doing Knoxville, Tennessee with Jerry. Jerry's going to be at least 2 locations. He might even be at the Miami location with me. I might even convince him to come to OC Retreat. Jerry, you're the freaking best. I appreciate you, brother.
Love you, Pace. Thanks
Love
for all
you
you
too.
do.
Tell your family we love them, but I text you about 14 times every single day. So I probably could just tell them myself.
We FaceTimed with the kids. It was so cute. Your girls with my kids. Anyway, we love you guys.
Love you too, brother. Jerry, I'm gonna get sealed. You know what? Did you know I'm not sealed to Laura in the temple?
You're not. I did not know that.
Next year we're gonna get sealed in the temple. I look forward to having you there. Maybe we'll do it in the Tennessee temple.
I would not miss that for the world.
It'd be cool. And I'm not sealed to my kids either, so I gotta get that taken care of as well. So love you, brother. You're one of the few people on the planet that inspire me every single day. Guys out there in the YouTube land, we appreciate you. We'll be back Monday with a lot of tactics. We'll be here for an hour and a half with you guys. We'll see you next week for Wholesale Hotline.
Appreciate you. See you guys.
Later.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.